Hello YouTubers. Last time we spoke in this series I was telling you about my time in the forces. Not great deeds of heroism of course, but just little snippets of stories that never get into the history books. And if I remember rightly, I told you that we had been issued with our uniforms and given loads of instructions on how we were to fold creases in the trousers and all sorts of things, and we were ready for our initiation into training us in fitness and discipline to be fighting machines, I suppose. Well, fitness of course came into practically everything we did, because everything was done more or less at the double, and we ran around like crazy. We were dragged out of bed early in the morning, scantily dressed in all weathers, to go on long runs and do all sorts of gymnastic exercises and things like that. But perhaps I should just tell you about the business of learning to march, which you would think would be easy really, wouldn't you? But we were just teenagers who shuffled along with our heads down, hoping that the world wouldn't be able to look into our eyes and reveal our innermost secrets that we thought we had. And so marching was a completely different kettle of fish. There was a regulation pace which I don't know what it was. It was about 3 feet or 1 meter or something, and when you marched, your arm had to be swung out to shoulder height with the hand pointing in a certain position, and your head held high and your back straight, and it all took a lot of getting your head round. Interestingly, there was one of our group called Oscar, and he was a tall young man with dark black hair and almost as dark eyes, and you wondered if those eyes sort of held some twinkle of amusement. But he had a long, lugubrious face, and he seemed to be uncoordinated in that when you walk naturally, when your left leg goes forward, you swing your right arm and vice versa, and that seems to be quite a natural sort of action. But he could never do that, and so he was severely humiliated and punished and reprimanded, and well, he had a very hard time, and I think we all wondered whether he was putting it on and trying to avoid the exercises or not. But whatever it was, in fact, he was eventually sort of excused parade duties, and I think excused a lot of the fitness regimes. And he, together with some of the others, stayed with me till the end of our time in the forces. And in actual fact, he did, I think, turn out to be quite uncoordinated, as cited by a case that I could tell you later, when he reversed a wagon that I was in charge of, full of very expensive radar equipment, which he slipped down the bank and finished up on its side in a canal somewhere near Oxford. So I don't think he really had sort of got everything properly coordinated. However, we were slowly turned into obedient, disciplined people, and you just did have to obey. I know it sounds very cruel, but I suppose the whole idea was that you were going to be made into a machine who would obey a command without question, and therefore anything that you did do wrong had to be punished, and the punishments were very severe. One of them was to sort of be made to go round the parade ground in a crouching position like a Cossack, and with a pack on your back and a shoulder a gun across your shoulders, and you didn't get very far in that sort of punishment before you collapsed and was humiliated, and you never disobeyed again. And I suppose it's a very old chestnut, but I wonder if in today's society perhaps let's say perhaps we would rather correct people by setting an example and encouraging bad behaviour instead of brutal punishment of did I say encouraging bad behaviour? I meant encouraging good behaviour instead of physically punishing bad behaviour. But maybe that's another big subject that I'm not wise enough to take part in. But the great joy was, of course, at the end of this 6 weeks period, you were in fact much fitter. You were all together in the same sort of group, and you could put up with punishments much more easily when you weren't the one who was singled out, and it seemed to be a system that was fair to everybody. There's one thing I wanted to tell you, which in the Navy, everybody was given a ration of rum, and if you were an ordinary rating like we were at that time, then you were given rum which was called grog, which was 1/3 of a pint of rum topped up with 2/3 of water, which made about half a pint, and this was issued to you every day, and you had to go to somebody, I think he was called a victualling officer. So you marched down this long corridor and did all your up, 2, 3, 4, banging your feet on the floor and saluting and shouting your name out or whatever, and then this mixture was mixed up, and the thing was that you had to drink it in front of the officer. So if you can imagine 18-year-old youths, probably not used to drinking, or in my case not drinking at all, having to down half a pint of rum, it was quite mind-blowing, really. So after you had pushed it down, you did the old up, 2, 3, 4 and about turn, and marched off back to your billet, where you collapsed on your bed, only probably to be dragged out very shortly to go running round and doing something else. But time has gone on a lot. I must stop there. I think next week is going to be quite a relaxed week for me. I've got a young man on Tuesday coming to see me who is doing a PhD, and his subject is intergenerational communication, and he is looking into YouTube and blogging and things to develop his arguments there, and he's coming over to ask me 1 or 2 more questions, which I will enjoy, because it is a subject that I did propose to talk about in future blogs, and so that will be nice. And perhaps you remember some time ago I told you about me going back to education at in my 60s and going to a comprehensive school and into the art world. Well, that particular teacher who allowed me that privilege, he's remained a friend ever since, and although he's been retired for some long time now, he's coming on Wednesday, and we are going to have a lunch at a pub that we favour with a beautiful view, and then going on to do a couple of art galleries. So I look forward to that, and providing the phone doesn't ring, I think it should be a relaxed week. And so till I see you again, I'll say goodbye.